to be honest, I'm not somebody who does a lot of, I didn't really believe in the coaching space. I didn't think I needed it. I was always an online. I did my MBA completely online through Arizona State. So I've always been self-starter, self-driven. Didn't feel like I needed an accountability coach, somebody to keep pushing me. But back in April, I just felt called to go do this kind of a boot camp out in Tennessee, and I went and I signed up for coaching when I left, and it's literally changed my life. And the goals, this mapping process is probably the best tool, the biggest impact tool that I've picked up from this coaching program. Not only because it's helped me gain clarity, but because it's helped me kind of just dive it down to everyday disciplines. So my promise to you guys is, through this process, if you guys can implement these things I talked through today, A, you're going to gain more self-confidence. B, you're going to come closer to God or higher power, however you want to define that. C, you're going to have a stronger connection with your family and friends. You're gonna be more fit. You're going to have the energy you've wanted. You're going to have that body you've wanted. And the biggest one that I found is you have a lot more clarity as to exactly what you want. And we'll talk more about that because it will change, right? As you move through the haze or through the fog, whatever you want to call it in life, you gain more clarity. So sometimes what you think you want right now, as you get closer to that, it'll change. And that's perfectly okay with mapping. So what we want to accomplish on this call, stick around to the end. We'll have all of 2024 mapped out, and you'll be ready next week to hit the ground running, to have your most productive year. And again, if you implement, if you do these things, promise you, it will be the most productive year. It will get you closer to those targets than you've ever been before. And again, most importantly, you're going to get more clarity as to where you're going by the end of this call. Couple concepts to think about. So probability of achievement. If you just have an idea, you've got about a 10% chance of accomplishing it. And I think this is where most people are with New Year's resolutions and goals. Is they have an idea, they don't even write it down. They're just like, yeah, I want to lose 20 pounds. Well, they go to the gym, and what is it, by February 14th or February 13th, it's like 45 days in, everybody's quit. Everybody's forgotten about it, right? That's that 10%. You just had an idea. That goes up to 25% probability of achievement if you consciously decide, if you actually say, hey, I'm going to do it, and these are the things I'm going to do to get that. It jumps to 40% if you set a date. If you say, hey, I'm going to get to lose that 20 pounds by June 1st, by February 1st, right? And then it jumps to 50% if you actually put together a plan. You say, here's my workout plan. I'm going to work out 4 times a week. I'm going to ride the bike. I'm going to go to the gym. And if you tell somebody else you're going to do it, it jumps up to 65%. That's simple. Just telling somebody else, hey, I'm going to do this by May 1st. Right? Now you've got a 65% chance of accomplishing it. And if you have an accountability partner, and this is where like coaching has been huge for me, you have a 95% probability of achievement. And so, some of you might need somebody, like, be that person. Find an accountability partner. You don't have to sign up for coaching like I did, but go all in and find somebody to report to. Or, I know, Emily, you're a broker. Like, you could be that person for all of your agents and also be using them to help hold you accountable on your goals. So that 95% is where we essentially want to be, right? Because this is the things we want in our life. So my coach is Nick Alfano here. So this is a quote he uses. So consider this as we're going through it. But he who processes feedback without emotion accelerates growth 7x. That doesn't mean you'll grow 7x, but it speeds the process up by which you grow. And then Brad Lee, I had a call with him about a month or two ago. If you know him on social media, he's got over 1 million followers. He's kind of the guy that built Grant Cardone's social media presence and everything there. So kind of well-known guy. as far as influencers go. If you won't make the sacrifice to get what you want, then what you want becomes the sacrifice. So if we're not willing to sacrifice, if we want to lose that 20 pounds, but we won't sacrifice not eating sweets every night, then losing that 20 pounds is what I'm sacrificing. And so, that really stuck with me when you kind of said that on our call, and it's so true. How many things in life are we just not willing to put off a few things, make a few sacrifices to get what we really want? We end up just sacrificing what we want and giving up on our goals. So I want to talk a little bit about my process and why I'm here today, why I want to teach this to you. I always kind of talk about old Drew and new Drew, right? There's things that old Drew used to do and the way that new Drew thinks and acts and believes. So old Drew, I define success as someone who could work from anywhere, right? Like a lot of this was people I looked up to growing up. Scout leaders, young men leaders, my parents, my uncles, things like that, right? Someone who could work from anywhere. They had a bunch of fancy things. Honestly, every one of those people were always stressed. They were always worried. And they answered every call, no matter who I was with or where they were. And so that was something that I brought into me, like to be successful. I saw that that's what they would do. So I subconsciously started to believe that's what I had to do. I went to church regularly. I held high positions in the church, made me feel really important. I served others to feel good about myself, but there's always always wanting to appear good to other people too, right? People who write their name down on the pass around sheets at church, but then don't show up. I usually at least showed up, but sometimes we're just putting on a show. I thought I could solve any problem by working hard. And part of that was I worked 60 to 80 hours a week. I had a goal to make $1 million in 1 year by the time I was 30. I did become and have been top 1% of loan officers nationwide the past 5 years. In 2020, I closed over 70 million, made over 700,000 just in loan origination. There it is. I spent the first 10 years working 6+ hours a week, but I was disconnected with my wife. I yelled at my kids because I was out of energy for them. And I would throw money at problems, like vacations, toys, cars, things to try to fix the problems at home. I was up to 250 pounds in 2020 and probably 25, 30% body fat. And I was very not self-aware as to anxiety and stress and things that I was dealing with. I didn't really put labels on them because I always thought those were things other people had. And, I overate, tried prescription substances to try to deal with those things. And it doesn't work, right? It treats the symptom. It doesn't cure the problem. So in the past 8 months, this has been the process I've been going through, and I've redefined success. It's having a team to get my work done, being present with the people I'm with in the moment. I deal with stress and anxiety through the tools I have, and I block out time to live the life I choose to live, the law of liberating constraints. I currently don't go to church, but I do have a personal relationship with God, and it's closer than ever. I'm still striving to not care what other people think of me, and really truly knowing who I am as a person and the value I offer to the world. So I'm still trying to discover that, but I'm getting closer. I know I can outwork anyone, but I don't want to sacrifice my relationships with my family and friends to chase a dollar. I have a goal to provide a comfortable life for my family. I want to save and invest 20% of my income and donate 10% of my income. I want to have a team, well, I do, that requires me to work in my business less than 20% of the time. That means the other 80% of the time I can work on my business, new ideas, new growths, new directions, new leads, things like that. I want to work no more than 50 hours a week, but try to stay closer to 35 to 40. Turn off my phone when I'm at home, on weekends, vacations. And I know for a lot of realtors, loan officers, there's some of you on here. That's a tough thing to do, especially when it's slow. And the easiest way to get business to answer your phone. But I've done that. That was old Drew. And that did, it cost me my family relationships. again, for $1. I want to connect, and I have been, with my wife and kids daily. I'm currently, actually this morning, I'm 220.9, under 19% body fat. I'm trying to get down to 210 and 15% by February 1. That's my goal. And guess what? Now I just told people, so I have a 50% chance of accomplishing that. I am aware of situations that cause me stress and anxiety, and I use tools that I've learned: meditation, journaling, cold plunges, box breathing, rather than food, substances, and prescriptions. So this is kind of the big shift I've seen in my life, and why I want to share this with everybody on this call today is, to help you guys kind of see and make some of those same changes in your life. The reason I don't like calling this goal setting, and I prefer the term mapping, is because I'm going to read what it says, but life's anything but a straight line. Mapping our targets is a far more powerful tool than goal setting or making resolutions, because it's okay to change course and take a detour. Goals are too linear and a pass-fail mentality. But goals, mapping is more like a backpacking trip. Sometimes it has detours, change of destination, or delays. It's all part of the journey. We need to enjoy the journey along the way, or we'll miss out on life. Right? Life's a journey. It's not about the destination. And so I do feel goals are too rigid. They're too, I want to make 100,000 this year, so I need to make 8,300 a month. And if today I'm making $0 a month, it's not realistic to say I'm going to go make $8,300 next month. Right? That's how you would do it with goal setting. But with mapping, you can say, you know what, it's going to take time to ramp up, and then I'm going to adjust and pivot throughout the year to hit that 100K mark. Because maybe we wander up one side of this mountain, if you're seeing this course drawn, this red line, and we realize, oh, it'd be easier if we backtrack, cut down to the river, and follow the river for a minute. That's, in my mind, that's why I like the concept of mapping better, is because we can change course, and it's not like, well, I didn't hit my goal. Well, I failed and I didn't achieve it. No. We're getting closer to the destination. We're getting more clarity. And maybe you'll be like me and you'll make a whole ton of money. You'll hit your goal and you'll look back and you'll be like, well, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought I wanted to make $1 million in a year, but all it did was make me work 80 hours a week. I'll constantly be on my phone. I went to Legoland with my family and I was literally on the phone the entire time. Like, that's not the life I want to live. And so it's okay with mapping to change that, right? To say, I don't want to make $1 million a year anymore. I want to pivot and go to a different mountaintop, a different destination, because that's what serves me. So we're going to focus on 4 main domains, areas of your life: faith, family, fitness, finance. That's how I categorize them. If you want to, shift those, I gave you some different ideas or concepts, what you want to title them. I like to just stick with the 4 F's: faith, family, fitness, and finance. And yes, I track them in that order, because I personally believe that if I'm strong in my faith, if I have a great relationship with my family and friends, and my body is healthy and strong and serving me, the finance will come into place. People will see that I've got my stuff together. I know what I'm like. I know what I'm doing. I'm upbeat. I've got good energy. The finance will follow. But if I'm 100 pounds overweight, if I don't have a relationship with my wife, and maybe I'm struggling with my self-confidence, it's going to be really tough to get that finance piece where it needs to go. And the other reason I like they're in order is I don't want to be this ripped and shredded bro like you see at the gym who's got his fitness in place, but everything else is a mess in his life. So I truly believe it all starts inside of us with our faith in ourselves and God, then with our family and friends, with those relationships. Because at the end of the day, those are the 2 things you take with us when you leave. And then it pours into your body and your fitness, and then the finance will follow. So we're going to start with where are we today? So if you look on that PDF in the chat, holler if you don't see it in there. I can drop it in there again. But I've got a little scorecard. It's the very first one. It's called a fact map. And I want you to do a little self-reflection and just score yourself 1 to 10 in each of those categories. Where are you today? So faith in yourself. Where are you on your self-confidence? If you know how are you dealing with stress and anxiety? The next one's your faith in God or a higher power. You know, how's your relationship there? The next one's family. How's your relationship with each of your kids, your parents, your wife? And give yourself a score. How about your friends? I know a lot of people that have young kids at home. The friends one is kind of one we struggle with because we're pulled so many directions with our kids that it's tough to make time for it. But that is, you know, something I need to prioritize more. On fitness, how do we look? If we strip naked and looked in the mirror, how do we feel we look? And then the next one's, how do you feel? Are you able to function and do the things you want to do? To, you know, let's say you wanted to drop everything, go on a backpacking trip. Can you do that? If you want to go hike the Grand Canyon, you know, because that's a goal of yours, go do it. If you wanted to run a marathon, are you healthy enough to do that? And then in the finance, I break that down to make and manage. So one is, how well can you make money? Can you bring money in the door? Can you generate sales, revenue, you know, income to the family? And the second one's manage, is how well are you managing all the money that's going out? Are you investing? Are you saving? Or you have no idea what you're spending and you're just praying it's more than what you're, you know, less than what you're making at the end of the day, so that you're having something in savings. So I'll give you a couple minutes, kind of walk through those. Oops. And let's see. Yep, I can go to this slide. And tally up your scores. If anybody has questions too, just unmute and chime in. Happy to answer any questions.
Those, I didn't get those in my chat.
Okay, let me drop it.
When you get a minute, that's fine. Thank you.
Yep. I'm gonna have to end the screen share for a second. Looks like Becky didn't get it either. Let's try this. There we go. Okay, I just dropped that again. You got it, Becky? Cool. Get back to sharing my screen. Okay. And Ken, I saw y'all join there in out in Ely, Nevada. Basically, if you want to just jot these down, if you didn't have time to print those out, you can always just kind of score yourself in each of those areas. There's 8 categories, 1 to 10, 10 meaning you achieve success, 1 meaning I'm so far away from that, and then tally up your score. Does anybody have?
Thank you, Drew.
Yep, cool. Does anybody have anything that maybe surprised them as they're doing this reflection, as they're kind of scoring themselves, that they want to share? No, that's okay. I will tell you, I've given a presentation similar to this 3 or 4 times, and I would say, well, in each of those classes, I've never had somebody over 80%. on their initial scoring. I've had 1 or 2 people in the 70 to 80% range, probably about half the people in 60 to 70, and then the rest under 60% as far as, what they're scoring. So don't be too hard on yourself. But in my coaching program, I would say just about everybody is operating 70% or higher on just about any given day because of the tools, because of this mapping and the things we're doing there. So if anybody has any comments, chime in. Otherwise, I'm going to move forward on to the next thing. This was mine from just a couple days ago. So I'm even just above 70% at 71%. The next piece of reflection I would want you kind of think through is what's working and what's not working. And remember, it's just feedback, right? Like we're just assessing, hey, what's working for me in my life, what's not working for me in my life. And like the quote I shared at the beginning, those who can respond to feedback without emotion can accelerate growth 7 times, 7x. So, if you can't get too emotionally wrapped into maybe what's not working or what's working and not be defensive and just state facts, you'd be able to have some good breakthroughs of next steps, things to do, what needs work. So I'll give you a couple minutes just to kind of think on those things, maybe even jot a couple down. And if you don't have time, if I go a little fast to go through every domain, you can go back and finish this. This give you a really good outline. So you can go back through and kind of finish out all these steps as you go. The big thing we're doing today is this is annual planning, right? I did this on my own this past weekend. It took me about 2.5, 3 hours to do. But I created my whole vision for the whole year, my whole map for the whole year. And I've broken it down to pretty much a daily process. So it takes a little bit of time, but then during the day, I can just go off what I have scheduled. All right, now, just like a backpacking trip, we got to know where we are, right? If you're pulling out a map, first thing you do, where am I? The next thing, where am I going? Okay, and Stephen Covey, love his books, love his teachings. Begin with the end in mind. Right? There's also a talk I remember from Thomas S. Monson that he shared from C.S. Lewis about the Cheshire Cat. If you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter which road you take. So now we're going to move on to where do we want to go? What's the end? So this is our freedom map. Okay, so this will be the next page on that PDF I sent you. And in each area, I want you to have up to 4. If you don't need 4, maybe you can't fill in 4, but I want you to have up to 4 targets for each area and really define what success looks like for you. So, and I would stick with in the faith section, faith in yourself, faith in God, right? So if I'm a 10 out of 10, what does that mean for my self-confidence? What does that mean with my relationship with my higher power? And then in, family and friends, what does that look like for family and friends? Fitness, how does that look like for how I feel, what I'm able to do, how I look? And then in the finance section, managing, where do I want to be? So I don't think we're gonna have time to fill out all 4 boxes, all 4 domains, all 4 targets. So maybe just maybe jot down 1 or 2 for each domain. And I'll give you all just a couple minutes to fill that out. while you're filling that out, I asked ChatGPT what is success, and this was the quote it gave me, and I thought it was great. But success, that's quite the topic, isn't it? I'd say success is a pretty personal and varies from person to person. Looking at it broadly, success could be about achieving targets you've set for yourself, whether about career, personal growth, family, or even leisure and travel. It's also about the satisfaction and fulfillment you get from those achievements. Like, if you get to travel to a dream destination like St. Thomas or Paris and have an amazing experience, that's success in the travel department, right? But beyond just checking off boxes, success is also about balance. It's finding harmony in different parts of your life: faith, family, work, and hobbies. I would say fitness and finance. It's the feeling that you're where you're meant to be, doing what you love, and growing as a person. So yeah, that was crazy what AI can do. If anybody has questions, again, feel free to chime in, throw them out there, because you're probably not the only one with that question. And I'll give you, this next slide's kind of about how I define success. This was from October. I just redid this, but these are some ideas I had on there back in October. Empathetic towards others, growing my self-confidence, stepping out of my comfort zone, controlling emotions without food, substances, prescriptions, being comfortable with who I am, not worrying, stressing, and fearing what others think. Know God. In the family realm, have an open and honest relationship with my wife, be vulnerable with each other, have a one-on-one relationship with each of my kids, be there in my kids' lives at all big events and most of the small ones, be there for them always, create a safe environment, have deep, meaningful friendships, have fun with my friends and family, fitness, weigh under 215, get to under 15% body fat, not have pain with normal activity, be able to keep up with my kids and play with them, not use food, drugs, supplements to control my emotions, have a six-pack, finance, have a team in place that doesn't need me to operate, build my savings, pay off my consumer debt, be able to shut off my finance brain and be present in the other areas of my life, gross 30K net after tax, set aside 20% of my income for savings and investing. And so this next slide, you'll actually see I've gotten a little more clarity, like even just in the last 3 months, and these have changed a little bit. So these are the ones I did just this past week. And I was able to kind of consolidate all of those down to 4 targets for each area, rather than, some of those I had 5 or 6 in. Questions, comments, anybody? And I can't see your faces because I'm in screen sharing mode. So if you have them, you just have to unmute and speak up. I'm going to give you just another, let's call it 1 minute to finish defining some of your freedom, what freedom is in that realm, what success looks like in that realm. And as I was doing this past weekend, what I kind of realized I was doing was I was really defining what success looks like, but it was taking my core values and who I am as a person and applying it to those domains. So it's very therapeutic. It's very good self-discovery, just writing these out and what I want and what I'm aiming for. And then also, being able to look back at when October, this is what I wanted. Now this is what I want. And I think I even left it in here. Yeah, this was from April or May of this last year. So read 12 self-help books, meditate so many hours, journal so many times, engage dates with my wife, It's crazy, just crazy to me to sit here and look that here were my goals, and in finance I had 7 or 8, all the other ones I had 4. But then looking at it today, like it's a lot more balanced, it's a lot more clear, concise. It's just crazy to kind of see old Drew, new Drew, and even through this process, as I've been doing it, right? It's not a one and done thing. It's continual feedback and going back and saying what's working, what's not working. Okay, so here's some questions to reflect on within this freedom map, because we've now defined where we're at and where the end is, what freedom is in each of these domains. So think about what are the biggest obstacles you're going to face on that path. What will you have to change to make sure you can hit your freedom? What's a sacrifice you're probably going to have to make? As on our call yesterday in my coaching program, there was a guy in there who realized that in order to grow his business, he's going to have to quit his teaching job. So he flat out said on the call, like, I'm realizing I've got to quit my teaching job. I've got to get rid of that salary and those benefits in order to go and grow my business, which is going to pay off more in the long run. And he sent a message out last night and said, I told my kids, and he's up at a cabin using the schools. I guess the school has a cabin or something, but he's up there using that because he's a teacher. And he told the kids, like, this might be the last time we're here because I'm going to quit teaching. And his daughter said to him, "That's fine, Dad. You just build your own cabin." And so it was really eye-opening to him that even his kids can see his power, his strength. And when you kind of realize the things you got to sacrifice and make that decision and make that commitment, I think we're often hardest on ourselves. Others believe in us. Others know we can do it, but it's that negative self-talk in our head. Sorry, I'll keep going. What is one weakness in your current behavior you're gonna have to change? What's a strength you can double down on? What resources do you have that you can help leverage to get to your targets? What will you have to learn? And I mean, most importantly, why does it matter to you? Why does this freedom target matter to you? Because if you know the why, it makes it that much easier. If you know why you want to drop 20 pounds and it's to, get your heart healthy and reduce your risk of having a heart attack. Well, then suddenly when the choice of eating that ice cream, that's my crutch, eating that ice cream or reducing my risk of a heart attack, now that's the question I'm facing, not do I want to eat this ice cream or not lose weight. So it becomes bigger when you understand the why behind it. So just outlining, right? We've got our 2 endpoints, our facts and our freedom. And now we're actually going to we're going to reverse engineer it. We're going to start at the end. So I want you to think about, what good habits do you have right now that are moving you forward? Hard worker, self-starter, confident, humble, people person, good listener, planner, meditation, journaling. Are you hyper self-aware, exercise, compassionate, sober, drink lots of water, eat healthy, low stress, sleeping well, attitude of gratitude, coachable, always learning, choose to win rather than be right, love doing service, harmonious work-life balance already, mentally strong, emotionally fit, connecting with others, authentic, likable, right? You all have good habits, good talents, good strengths that have propelled you to where you are today. So it's good to know what those are so you can double down on those. And maybe you've only applied them in your family realm. Maybe you're only that sociable, likable, authentic person with your family and you don't do that at work. Maybe that's why the finance realm's struggling. Maybe you need to take that strength and apply it over there, or vice versa. And then think about the flip side of that. What bad habits are holding you back? Addiction, self-sabotage, stress, anxiety, guilt, time, wearing too many hats, trying to balance too much, doom scrolling, lying, drifting, too controlling, gossiping, judging, negative self-talk, spending frivolously, sugar, caffeine, not exercising, Superman complex. That's one I didn't realize I had, but I love to come in and save the day and solve problems. I've learned that in the last 90 days. Your ego, unable to delegate, people pleaser, right? These are bad habits that could be holding you back in some of these areas. And so as we kind of reflect on these, where our strengths, where our weaknesses, now we're going to set targets that emphasize the good ones. These targets are going to move us towards our success, but we're going to take them and we're going to turn them into SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, and time bound. And then create rewards along the way with the good. With the bad, you want to make them unattractive. You want to get rid of them with good ones. Find an accountability partner, somebody to report to. I text my macros, my calories and my protein every night to a group of guys. That helps me when I want to eat a cookie. No, I gotta report to these guys, so I can't do it because that'll push me over my calories. So, and then create negative consequences. Make yourself do something negative, and naturally your brain will reprogram yourself to not want those things. The ugly. You will change your targets as you go. That's okay. It's not, don't feel like you're a failure. That's why we call it mapping and not goal setting, is because it's okay to change your destination. You will feel guilty for letting the bad habits creep back in, but that's okay. You are not perfect, and that's perfectly okay. And we'll have to repeat this process regularly throughout the year. But remember, it's just feedback. We're just looking for feedback in our own life. What's working? What's not working? How can I adjust to still hit freedom? Okay, so this is like, these are literally my maps. So as you can see, I took my targets from Faith, be confident in who I am, and don't worry about what other people think of me. So something I can do to build that freedom, to find that success, and I set a goal. It's measurable, SMART, right? 12 times, I want to do something that makes me uncomfortable. I'd like really have to sweat about it, be up at night worrying about it, and be uncomfortable. And then there's something, if we have time, we can talk about it in the end, but it's COG 250 times. That really helps build self-confidence. Defaulting to winning rather than being right. Be curious, not judgmental. So we have something in the program called a circuit, trying to rewire our brain to look at everybody's perspective. And because I think we all default to wanting to be right in a situation rather than how do we find a win? What do we truly want out of this situation? Too often we're just stuck on, well, I'm right. Who cares if you're right if you lose? So I've got a number there. I want to do one of those circuits 150 times. Reprogram my brain to give others the benefit of the doubt when issues arise. Meditation and journaling I have found to be huge tools for those. Control my emotions and mentality without food, substances, prescriptions, or drugs. Cold plunge, 5 minutes, chest deep, 100 times. Take a walk. There's a point 2 weeks ago, I was beyond frustrated with my kids. They wouldn't go to bed. I'd had a long day at work. So I literally at 10 o'clock at night, went and took a walk around the neighborhood for half an hour. And I came back and I was like, oh, I feel so much better. So just, these are tools. And I did this all the way down. What habits, what things can I implement in my life to achieve these targets? And now I'm going to make them SMART. Questions, comments, thoughts on, kind of this conversion process? Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys probably about 5 minutes to just think about things you can do there, and maybe even if you come up with some good ones, share them, because I'd love to hear what you guys are doing, what ideas you have to better connect with your family, for your health, for your finance, for your faith. Like, what things are you guys coming up with or have been doing and want to do more and get in the habit of, that maybe others of us can do? Give you about 2 more minutes. Kind of write some of those down, and I'd love for some people to just share some things you found in your life. And you'll notice here, like, I've got, um, at the bottom of my fitness section, go to the chiropractor 12 times, because I found that's helped my lower back kind of decompress. And oftentimes, if I don't go for 3 or 4 months, it'll get out of place, and then I'm laid up for weeks, and that's no fun. So making that a habit and a routine, getting a massage, again, same problem. It's that lower back and hip for me. And so, like, it all doesn't have to be, I'm going to exercise hard, I'm going to diet good. Like, there are things for our body, like going to the chiropractor, getting massage, that can, help benefit our lives, and we just need to make them a habit. And maybe what I'll do is, let's I want to hear some ideas, but let's just do them at the end when I can get out of screen sharing. So then we can all kind of just have a conversation of different thoughts, ideas, things we come up with. So, as you come up with these annual goals, right? So this is everything you want to do this year that's going to bring you closer to freedom. It gets really easy to break it down from there. So basically, you're going to take your annual goals and divide them by 4, and that's going to lead to your quarterly map, right? And then you take your quarterly map, you break it down into a weekly map. There's 13 weeks in a quarter. So you can take all those quarterly goals, divide them by 13. Personally, and I schedule my weeks this way too, but if it's like 3.2, I'm going to put 4 because I'd rather be ahead at the end of Q1 so that if I get sick or if I get hurt or if something happens during the year that sets me back on my goals, I'm already a little bit ahead. So like, I mean, the way I plan my week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I go hard. I try to get everything done. Thursday is my catch-up day. If I get everything done in my week by Thursday, I do not come to the office on Friday. That doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And sometimes my Fridays are half days because there's only a little bit to get done. And so I like to front load because sometimes too, something pops up on a Tuesday and I got to run to a meeting for 2 hours, throws off my whole day. And now I've got to push things back. But for the sake of these maps, once you've got your annual targets, divide it by 4, that's your quarterly target. Take your quarterly target, divide it by 13, that's your weekly. But keep in mind too, we can't, it's not always linear, right? Meditation, journaling, doing those things a certain number of times. Yep, that's easy to break it down. I need to just do it this many minutes every month. But maybe losing weight, like for me, I want to lose, I'm at 11 pounds I need to lose, and I want to do it by February 1. Well, that means on my weekly map, like I need to be losing 2 to 3 pounds every week. So by the end of next week, I need to be at 217 so that I can hit 210 by February 1. So that one's more, I'm going after quicker beginning of the year. Whereas, my finance targets, I don't have, I'm not going to be making 50K in January, nowhere near that. And so I'm going to have to do things to get in place so that by June, July, August, by mid-year, I'm really starting to ramp those things up. And so I'm setting some smaller targets, especially for Q1. My hard money loans, netting how much from coaching, how much I'm trying to gross from First Colony, right? Like those are below my targets for the year because my plan is to ramp those up as the year goes. And so, but then losing weight, I'm going fast and then I'm going to maintain the rest of the year. So keep that in mind and adjust as necessary. So then once I have my weekly map, I do a weekly review every Sunday. Okay. These maps, they're a little bit different color. It's essentially the same format. These are the colors from my program. I didn't want to just copy and paste and rip off my coach, even though he actually told me that he's totally cool with that and he would love it if I did it, but I had already made these other ones. So these are just different color, but these are legitimately some of my maps from a couple weeks ago. And you'll see the goals are a little bit different because I had different goals and then I'm striving for this next year. So I go through and I check things off throughout the week. I go through and I green highlight, check mark. What did I get done? What did I miss? And then I look at it and I say, why? What worked? What didn't work? Why did I not hit my stacks? Why did I not hit my meditations? Why did I not hit my COG? And these questions on the right, I actually ask myself, what are obstacles getting in the way? What's the sacrifice? What's the weakness? What's the strength? What resources do I have? What do I need to learn? Why does it matter? Once I hit it, how's my life going to be better? So do I really want it? And then I reassess. Like this past week, my goal is usually do my 4 lift workouts a week. This past week, we were going up to Salt Lake, so I knew I would only get 3 of them in. But I knew that on Sunday, so I could pivot my map and my plan to 3 lift workouts for the week. And then maybe I did a little more time on the Peloton, right? Like as you sit down on Sunday and plan out your week. And then for me, again, I like to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, try to knock out about 80% of this. So then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I can, just knock out the easy stuff and make sure I get it all done. Rarely do I hit 100% of my weekly maps. Again, it's just feedback. So how do I need to pivot? What do I need to adjust? You know, am I not sleeping in? Am I not getting up early enough? Did I get sick? You know, there's things you can give yourself grace for. There's other things that you're not, you know, maybe you're just not disciplined enough. And that's just feedback. So then every night, right, I've got my weekly plan. Every night I fill out one of these daily maps. Okay. And on the right hand side, that's where you've got my schedule for the day. This is literally what almost every morning looks like. 3 days a week, I'm up before 5. The other 3, I'm up by 6. And one day I sleep in to catch up on sleep. But I start my day with green drink and a protein drink. I do a stack, and then I go to the gym, work out, and then I'll meditate in the sauna. So before 8 a.m., I've already, you know, accomplished a number of those things towards my goals. I'm home to help get the kids ready for breakfast, and then I'm going to go to the office. When I get to the office, now I know what I'm doing. I know exactly what I'm doing when I get there. I look at my schedule. I try to stick to my time as best I can and not get derailed. But as you all know, sometimes people call us and we've got to go jump on this, or we got to run to a meeting, or we got to go show houses, or whatever it may be. We do get pulled sideways, but it's really easy to look back and know what we're missing, what we should be doing. And then the next night, I do the same thing that I do with my weekly map. I actually green cross out everything I did on time and got it done. And I red circle the things I missed. And it's been kind of interesting to me to see the things that I red circle are things that are kind of low energy. They drag. I don't like doing them. They're things I need to delegate at the end of the day. And so I start to realize I need to delegate those things to my assistant, since they're just dragging me down. Or I put them at the first thing the next day because I got to get them done. And I won't make an excuse. And I have to get it done. I'll forward my calls to my assistant so that I can get that thing done if it's not something I can delegate. But I literally have my whole day planned out, and I try to be as specific as I can. So I used to just put family time. Oh, excuse me. If you look down about 6:30, it says game night with kids. I used to always just put family time. Well, then I would get home and it wasn't clear enough. It wasn't specific enough. And I would just drift. What do we want to do? Oh, the kids are playing. That's fine. What I've started doing now is being more specific and saying, I want to do game night. And so I'll get home and I'll ask the kids, do you guys want to play games? Usually what I write down, they're all on board and we'll jump in and we have a great night. Sometimes they're like, no, we want to do this. That's okay. I'll pivot. I'll do that. But if I don't come home with an idea or a plan, then we just drift and everybody does their own things and none of us get any closer together. So, and then on this one, I have a theme by the quarter. My theme for Q1 is going to be lead. And I also set on the left-hand side in the middle, you'll see non-negotiables. These are 3 things I pick out of my day that are non-negotiables. 100% I'm going to get done. Kind of just, it's that priority list. So if you do get derailed, what you planned the night before, those are the 3 most important things to get done. And that's like, these are going to lead you. If you plan well enough, and if you plan specific enough, you don't have to worry about what you're missing, what you're not doing. Because if my daily map, I am planning from my weekly map came from my quarter map came from my annual map came from freedom. So now I don't have to be anxious and worried about, am I going to get what I want? Am I going to achieve, the income I want? I can just focus on what I'm doing today, right here, right now, in the moment. And the amount of anxiety I've had doing this has just been so much less because I can trust my plan that I've put together. So that is the end of the presentation that I've got. I do want to hear some of your guys' thoughts, ideas, comments on, activities you can do, and maybe share those as a group so that we can all learn from each other. Let me end the screen sharing here and hop back into Zoom. All right, what were some activities, things you guys felt like, you can do for your annual goals, habits you can make to help you achieve that freedom in each of those areas of your life? Anybody come up with some? No brave souls today. I know I had meditation, journaling, cold plunges, right? Those were all things in my faith category, working out, riding the Peloton, tracking my macros. Those were all in my fitness category. How about family? Did anybody have anything they can do for family goals?
Mine was do a weekly date, just one-on-one date, have it planned out no matter what. That's what we're doing, whether it be one night, but at least have it planned out that Sunday. So we're not just sitting there, hey, what do you want to do for our date night tonight? And we could switch off weeks or whatever, where it's her week and my week or whatever, but at least have it planned out prior, so that way we don't have an excuse.
That's well, it gives you time to find babysitters too, right? Because you're in that same boat with me with young kids.
Exactly.
I like your suggestion of no phone, putting it in the other room. I added that to my list. I have a hard time with that because I work from home. So my office is my home and I've got to learn to separate that. So that's what I'm going to work on. I love that idea.
Yeah, that's been a game changer for me. And I'll still go check it from time to time, especially when I know I have, I'm waiting for a call or expecting a message. But just having it out of the room, like my anxiety of constantly going and checking my phone and then doom scrolling, it doesn't happen now. Darcy, did you have any family goals or any goals you want to share?
Yeah, sure. I just got back from a big family trip, which was great for the holidays. But I've got written down here, phone my kids. I'll have a conversation with them once a week. They all live away from me, so I don't get to run into them. We do have a thread that we have a continuous text going on, but I want it to have more substance. So if something comes in that I think will help their life with their relationships or their kids or their wives, I want to send that on. I got here visit grandkids in person a couple times a year at least, and I have another one here is finding somebody to have a relationship with. Have some good personal experiences again in a dating or relationship sense.
So go on some dates, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Or I guess, they got to be smart so that you can't have other people saying yes or no be contingent on that, but ask so many people on dates, right?
Yeah.
That's good. That's great.
I'll find somebody you want to be with. The dating part's one thing. The finding someone where you want to spend time with them is a whole different ballgame.
Absolutely. Yep. I the other thing I've done with my phone, I won't take it on date nights with my wife. Now I don't expect her to do the same because babysitter and this, that, and the other she might need to be getting a hold of. But I leave my phone in the car or at home. And I don't know, it set the precedence that I'm not there when she goes to the bathroom, look at my phone and she comes back. So then she just pulls out her phone. Because how many times do we go to a restaurant and see people just on their phone, not even talking?
The majority of the time now.
Yeah. And so that's been good. And then another one I did was the one-on-one time with each kid. It's kind of like what you were saying, Darcy. Like too often I'm like, well, I took my kids to the park. But I noticed like all my kids are different. My oldest loves to play soccer, my daughter loves to color, and my youngest just loves to wrestle. Well, if I just go to the park and sit on a bench, am I really like improving that relationship with them? And so one of my goals is one-on-one time with each of them, to build that personal relationship. Jessica, what about you? Have you got any good ideas on any of the realms?
Yes, I really love that you had said, no phones on date night. We sometimes feel like we have to take ours just because of kids. But one thing that I want to do more of, that my husband was like, I don't know if he even knew he was doing this, and made a great example to me, but this whole month on our date nights, he was like, I want to see what kind of people, like, I want to know more about people, like those serving us, their backgrounds, their lives, and that was something that he felt like he wanted to donate to, you know, like, and it was really interesting how before we left one of our dinners, like we knew about a lady that had taken foster kids and different experiences that she had with that, and actually how it kind of had ended hard, but I mean, things that we had this waitress before and didn't know about her, you know. The other night we went, and by the time we were done, we were going on a full-fledged, like, what do you call it? We were going through the whole restaurant, getting the history of how it was built. And we were like clear back in her office, and she was showing us cool things about like our area here in Vernal, and pictures and different things. So I think for me too, like even with the no phone, like I want to be more aware of those that are around serving me, and those that maybe are even around me in general in those things, because I feel like it kind of has brought us together. And then one other thing that kind of came to mind, I don't know if this is a great thing, but with our kids, like it's constant attending their activities, which is great. It's just the stage of life we're in. But it came to me that I want to like keep track of those activities, and then maybe ask my kids, like, what is it that you need best from me at this point? Like for tonight, okay, this game, what is it that would be best for you? What is it that the best way I can support you? I mean, you know, as far as like, even if it's bringing them a drink that they want, or I don't know, I just want them to know. I guess my thing is that I don't want them to just take for granted that mom and dad are able to always be there, but maybe like, oh my gosh, like mom's really aware about my evening tonight. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So
I think communicating and first you have to know what their favorite drink is, but then, you know, kind of what I'm hearing is connect on a deeper level.
yes.
Not just the surface level of, oh, your name's Charity and you're from Vernal. Okay. Like, tell me more. Like, let's dive into it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Troy left some comments here. Spend more quality time as a couple with friends in person. That's a good one. Sacrifice some time to be in person with friends. And then being present has become difficult, and the behavior he wants to change the most. That's, you can ask my wife, that is a tough one for me. And I know you can't talk, you're in your office, but it's yeah. What do you guys have any comments on being present? Things that tips, tools, tricks you guys have done? Anybody else?
I think for me, I'm being really careful this last year. I've been really careful on who I'm giving my time and my energy to. Is it really not benefiting, but is it really helping raise me? Or am I just doing it like you said in the beginning, when you said you just did it to look good or whatever? You know, I don't want that anymore. I want those around me and myself to feel good when I walk away from it. I don't want it just to be, I did that just because that's what we're supposed to do. That's what I've been concentrating on, is where I'm giving my energy and my time to.
Yeah, that's great.
I think the one thing, Drew, I have to tell you, like I received your message the other day for Christmas that was a video message. And on there, like you had said my name and wished me a Merry Christmas and all of that. For me, I sent a message to my agents and told them to reach out to their clients because I felt like you had connected with me. You have tons of other people you could have sent a message to, and I'm sure it took time. For me, that was one thing that was like changing. It was like, oh my heck, that meant something to me. And that made me want to connect with people, like Jessica was saying, and find out a little bit more about people, but be more personal with them, not just you're just another number in my book. So I did want to tell you that was awesome.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, and that's, I mean, as I've reflected this year, like that's something I feel has been a big part of my business, is having that personal connection and not just a number. I'm not just chasing online leads and funneling people through, but really trying to have that connection with people. In fact, I've got a couple clients I've done loans for on here, so that's kind of cool to see. Being present, what is it? Anxiety comes from the future, and fear comes from our past. So in the present, there is no fear and there is no anxiety. It's only the present. And anxiety has always been, the bigger thing, worrying about what's going to happen, what could happen, what if this happens. And so meditating has really been a big one for me, even just 10 minutes. And I've even found if I will meditate for 5 minutes before I go home, it helps me reset, reframe my mind so that I don't go home and then have to like distance myself from the kids and go hide in the bedroom for a half an hour to unwind. Really, I can do it in 5 minutes with meditation. And then the day, trusting my daily planner. That's been another one. And that was kind of a work in progress. Like it didn't happen day one. It took me probably 4 or 5 months of doing the daily planning and getting really specific and realizing the reason I'm doing this so that I don't have to worry about 3 months from now. I don't have to worry about a year from now because I've already backed those targets down to today. So as long as I can go and hit 80, 90% of what I needed to get done today, I'm on track and I can just be present. And phones obviously are another big thing, like getting rid of my phone, putting that away when I don't need it. Or even in lunch appointments, forwarding my calls or putting it on do not disturb so that it's not going off and constantly popping up with notifications. Anybody else have any tips, tricks, things that's worked for them on helping to be present? Okay. Any questions, any insights, anything like that? Anybody wants to go into deeper? Okay, then really quickly, there's one more section on that daily planner. I just want to kind of explain to you what it is. It's called COG. It's spelled kind of funny, but it stands for the cost of greatness. But it's also about impact over income. So it's more about the impact we can leave is far more important than the income we can generate. And so we kind of combine those two acronyms, and that's why it's CIOGI, COG. What that is 8 things, 2 for each category, faith, family, fitness, finance, that we're going to do daily. And do I hit an 8 out of 8 every day? No. I would say probably 90% of the time I'm at least 6 though. And what it does is it helps you move that needle just a little bit every day. And so you'll see that in the top left corner of your daily planner. It's got meditation, journaling, family and friends. And so for the meditation, meditate. And if you only got 5 minutes, do 5 minutes. I try to set the standard of at least 10 minutes because it usually takes me a full 10 minutes to get into a true meditative state. Journaling, I've worked with a sports psychologist before, and he talks about 5 to 1s. So that's what my journaling is right now. It's writing down 5 things I did well today and one thing I'm going to improve on. And so like your journaling can be that simple. Or even, just journal about your day. But I've found travel logs are not as great. Whereas diving into, some powerful concepts or beliefs or thought-provoking questions, even just feedback on the day before, why did my wife respond this way? Or my daughter's been teasing me lately. So I'm like, my journal this morning was why did my daughter constantly want to tell me no last night? Didn't matter what I said. She just wanted to say no. And so journaling that kind of helps me step back from the situation, analyze it, collect feedback so that I can try a different approach next time. The next one is family. Pour into a family member. Could be in person, telling them you love them. You could leave them a message on the mirror, send them a note, send them a text, send them a video message. Just reach out to a family member and connect with them. Let them know you love them. Like a big one for me is like a lot of kids, I don't think are told that their parents are proud of them enough. And so I try to make sure I tell my kids that I'm proud of them, that I'm here for them, and try to connect with them on that level. Even these small things, I hope, will make a big impact down the road. It's actually led to my kids writing me notes from time to time, and they're 9, 6, and 4. And I've gotten notes from my 9 and my 6-year-old about how much they love me. So that's been kind of cool. Friends, same thing, but for friends, video message, text message, make a call. You don't have to call them, but just do something to reach out and connect. I got a text yesterday. I had sent a video message to an old high school buddy back in May. He texted me yesterday, "Hey, sorry, I forgot to respond to your video a while ago. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. We had some great times back then." This was 7 months later. Like, you don't know the impact. You don't know what other people are going through. So it doesn't hurt. And yes, you will have friends that are going to wonder, do you have cancer? Are you dying? What's going on? And I just kind of laugh and I'm like, nope, just wanted to connect with you. Can't remember what yours says. They've kind of changed the acronyms here and there, but the next one I believe is fuel. So what are we putting in our bodies? So for me, it's just starting the day with a green drink or a protein drink. Right now, I'm actually doing both. So just, and it could be as simple as, instead of ordering a full sugar coffee today, I'm going to order a no sugar coffee today, right? Just do something healthy for your body. Or instead of eating a donut, I'm going to have an apple for breakfast, to check that box. Fitness, sweat, like that's like the sweat piece, just sweat. I don't care if that means 20 burpees, if that means walk around the block, or if that means go work out for an hour. Do something to get your body moving and sweat. Discover, that's in the finance F. That one is be the expert of your craft. So spend 20 to 40 minutes that day learning something new. Could be about AI, could be, maybe it's a self-help book. Just spend time investing and learning something new in yourself under that discover every day. And then declare. There's some misconceptions in our group. You don't actually have to do what you declare, but literally just declaring it out loud 3 times is all you have to do. So maybe there's a client you don't want to call that you need to call, you've been putting off. So I'm going to declare that I'm calling that client today. I'm calling John today. I am calling John today. I am calling John today. The odds of you completing that just doubled. So literally just say it out loud 3 times, and that's what the declare is for your COG section. Oh, Stephanie didn't. I'll drop Stephanie this notebook in here right now for you.
I just found your message, your annual mapping template. I'm sorry, Drew.
No,
I just
you're good.
scrolled up a little bit and I saw it. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's in the chat, but I'll drop it again so it's right there at the bottom.
Thank you.
There you go. So yeah, so that's what those 8 things are, and I do them every day. Again, in my nightly session, I plan them out. You'll see a lot of those things coincide with my maps as well, because if I can meditate, meditation counts, and journaling and working out, right? Like if we can, I'm not trying to create more things for you to do. I'm just trying to help you stack the little wins and count the little wins each and every day to move that needle. So even if you're on vacation, you're like, hey, I moved the needle a little bit in every area of my life today. Any questions on that COG corner?
Tell us one more time what that stands for.
Cost of greatness. And then it's impact over income. The concept is COG spells cog. So it's like your cogwheel, right? And imagine a cogwheel with 8 spokes. Or I guess if you look at it, I believe I have a cogwheel on there. In order for that wheel to run properly, all 8 spokes have to be on there so that it can rotate and turn all the other cogwheels of your life. And so if you do all 8 of those, you're putting all 8 spokes so your cogwheel can be turning. And I challenge y'all to do it first thing of the day. Like by 8 a.m., I'm at least at a 6 almost every day. And so it gets your cogwheel going, it moves the needle forward a little bit. First thing every day. The day's a win. The day's a success because I got the needle moved a little bit in every area. Any other questions? Anything else? Okay. Well, I don't have anything more. So if any of you have questions, or maybe you're going through this on your own and want a little more help or a little more guidance, feel free to call me. I think you all have my cell phone number. If not, it's in the emails from registering. Yeah, I am starting my own coaching program to help hold agents. It's for essentially real estate industry people. I didn't want to do specifically lenders. I didn't want to do specifically realtors, just anybody in real estate, because I think there's a lot we can learn from each other. We're going to do group calls on a weekly basis, hold each other accountable, and help implement tools like this into our life. So if anybody's interested in that, you can reach out to me as well. I'd love to help y'all grow. But that's it for me, and wish you all Happy New Year and wish you the best in 2024.
Thanks, Drew.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Drew.